Today, we wanted to show you how to make a great Cantonese dish, pan-fried stuffed chilies. This dish comes from the town of Shunde, south of Guangzhou, and is stuffed with fish. See, there's a specific breed of fish that's used again and again in Shunde cuisine. Lingyu, a freshwater mud carp that's native to the Pearl Mekong rivers. It's got this great taste to it, but is unfortunately super bony. So traditionally, it's been used in pretty inventive ways, making everything from a fish soup that has the consistency of congee, to fish tofu with no tofu, to, of course, these sorts of meat fillings. So if you go to a Cantonese market, they've often got a specific stall devoted to just cleaning and filleting lingyu. And I've often found something awesomely hypnotic about watching these vendors do their thing. Now we know that unless you happen to live in South China or Vietnam, you're probably not going to find mud carp. So we also tested this using both bass and tilapia and found that it definitely still works with one important adjustment. See, lingyu is a pretty umami fish. So to replicate that flavor, we found that supplementing the paste with dried scallop does a great job. We used 5 grams of dried scallops, or you could also use dried shrimp, and let those reconstitute in 50 grams of hot, boiled water for 30 minutes. Then once it's about room temperature, just toss in the fridge because we'll be using the soaking liquid for the paste. But right, making fish paste really is a great option for any sort of smaller, bonier river fish. So just in case, let me just show you how you'd work with lingyu real quick. To skin those fillets, first cut into 3 sections. Take one of the 2 sides with a thicker skin, make a cut near the back of the fillet, then firmly press down on the skin with your knife. Then grab the fish meat and start to pull it from the skin. Once you get the hang of it, you can skin a fillet pretty easily. I know that this here wasn't exactly my cleanest work, but whatever, it'll end up a paste anyway. Then take out the center portion and slice out the skin just like you do in the Western style. And no matter what fish you're working with, just make sure that you've got 250 grams of fillets in all. Now, this fish still has a bunch of little bones in it, so first cut the fillets across into thin slices to break the bones into smaller pieces. If you're working with lingyu, you should actually be able to hear the bones cracking. But assuming that you're working with some sort of boneless, skinless bass or tilapia fillet, just join in at this point and give your fish a quick mince. Then once it's in smaller pieces, just grab a knife, settle in, and start chopping, periodically folding the meat over itself so that we can break this all down into a paste. We found that getting there takes about 5 minutes of working with lingyu, 10 minutes with bass, and tilapia somewhere in between. Depending on your fish, it might end up a touch more granular than this. Don't panic, it'll be okay in the end. Now toss that in a bowl, and we'll prep everything else for the paste. So now take out those reconstituted scallops, give them a mince, and set them aside. Then to that soaking liquid, toss in 25 grams of cornstarch and mix well. That'll be an important bit for our emulsion. We'll also be using 15 grams of scallion, finely sliced, and 50 grams of water chestnut, smashed, then finely minced. Now back to our fish. So to your paste, first toss in 4 grams or about a teaspoon of salt. Then go add it and mix for about a minute. Then take your cornstarch mixture and add it in bit by bit. What we're doing here is developing the myosin in the mixture to get this into a sticky meat emulsion. Now there's a lot of variables at play when it comes to myosin development. The freshness of your fish, the fresher the better. The temperature of your mixture, the colder the better. The fat content of the fish, the leaner the better. And of course, the mixing time. For us, 4 minutes was enough. And yes, I do know that I hold my chopsticks like a total moron when I'm stirring meat mixtures. But once you're looking at a more uniform paste, it's time for my favorite technique in all of Chinese cooking, da-ing the mixture. So that's basically just grabbing your mix and repeatedly smashing it all down against your bowl about 10 times, which helps develop springiness. Then season with a half teaspoon of sugar and a quarter teaspoon of white pepper powder, add in the scallop, the water chestnut, and the scallion, give it another thorough mix, and your fish filling is good to go. So now for the chilies. We're using 4 zhenjiao, a mild sort of chili that's common in Guangdong. There's nothing too special about them. They're about as hot as a jalapeno, so that's probably what I'd reach for if I was in the States. For these, I personally like to chop off the very end because that bit loves to scorch, and of course, these have got to be deseeded. Then, to help the filling stick to the chili and not fall out, rub each half with a good bit of cornstarch, smacking out any extra. Then just grab your chilies and stuff your mixture in. We find doing this with chopsticks lets us stuff it all a bit fuller, but totally use a rubber spatula if you prefer. And if you find that you have some extra filling, just shape those into fish cakes and pan fry after you do the chilies. So right, as always, first, lang yao. Get your wok piping hot, shut off the heat, add in the oil. Here we're pan frying, so about a half a cup, and give it a swirl to get a nice nonstick surface. Then up your flame and heat the oil up until bubbles start to form around a pair of chopsticks, or about 175 centigrade, then shut off the heat again. Carefully lay your chilies face down into the oil, pressing them gently against the wok. Then swap your flame to medium-high and press down on them again with a spatula. If you're using a round bottom wok like us, every 20 seconds or so, tilt the wok in a different direction to let the chilies cook evenly. Or if you're working with something flat bottom, just fill it all up with about a ½ inch of oil. After about 3 minutes of frying, the filling should be pretty golden brown, so pour a tablespoon of mijo rice wine around the wok and quickly cover to steam, swapping for sake or water if you can't find Chinese mijo. After a quick 15-second steam, uncover, flip the chilies around and fry for another 15 seconds, heat off, and out. Make sure any excess oil is drained out, and then toss on a plate. Now, at a restaurant in Shunde, they'll usually serve this alongside a seasoned house soy sauce. Sometimes it's a dip and sometimes it's smothered. Now know that there's as many seasoned soy sauces as there are Cantonese chefs, but one variety we like mixes in a ½ teaspoon of sugar with about 20 milliliters of hot boiled water, a tablespoon and a half of light soy sauce, and a ½ teaspoon of fish sauce, which is a real thing here, we swear. So then just pour that all over everything, and your Cantonese pan-fried chilies are done.
So the stuffed chili is one of the stuffed stuff in a Cantonese stuffed dish that's called pan-fried stuffed three treasures, 煎酿三宝,金元三宝, which also contains stuffed vinegar and eggplant. So check out the red link in the description box for detailed recipe. A big thank you for everyone that's supporting us on Patreon. And of course, subscribe for more Chinese cooking videos.